Do your iPhone photos suck? There's a lot of hype around iPhone cameras, and there might be one feature that you're not using right. Your iPhone is actually hiding a professional grade camera inside it, but by default, Apple has turned it off. Most people think they're getting the best possible photo when they hit that shutter button, but they're actually throwing away 60% of the data their sensor just captured. Today, we're unlocking Apple ProRaw, and I'm going to show you why it's the difference between a nice phone pic and a shot that looks like it came off a professional camera. This is all things mobile. So let's just get right into it. This is my main tip. This is something I do in the settings every single time I get a new iPhone as soon as I pull it out of the box. Okay, so what you're gonna do is go to settings, then go to camera, then go down to formats. From there, you're gonna wanna make sure you have ProRAW and resolution control turned on, and then you go into ProRAW format, and then I want you to hit JPEG-XL Lossy. I'm telling you, JPEG-XL Lossy is the option to choose here unless you're dead set and you have a specific reason to use another file format. Lossy is the way, and not just because it's the most fun one to say. Let's break it down. RAW photos are basically a digital version of a film negative, meaning they basically hold the most amount of information or data that you possibly can right now in an image file. So that means that you have the most amount of information or data in the highlights to bring those down or adjust them the way you want without clipping, or the shadows without crushing the blacks and being able to adjust there, as well as the most amount of information in the colors, which I personally think is the most important, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. So Apple's ProRAW is a computational RAW. So that means your iPhone has already done some heavy lifting for you. It's stacked images to help you with noise and getting the exposure right. But it being a RAW file type is really important if you want to take it into an editing software after you take it. And that's because, like I said, there's more information and data in the file type, which means when you pull it into an editing software, you can stretch and play with your image much more than you could if it was just a JPEG. Okay, so back to the colors. Just switching into ProRAW changes your images from an 8-bit color depth to a 12-bit color depth. And that might not sound like a lot, but it is. 8-bit covers 16 million colors. 12-bit color depth covers 68 billion colors. So think of 12-bit color depth kind of as a safety net. Have you ever taken a picture of a sunset and the sky looks chunky or has weird circular lines? Well, that's banding. But because we now have 68 billion colors to work with, the sky will look much more natural and have a beautiful gradient, smooth look, like it should. And like I said, the extra bonus of shooting in RAW is exposure recovery. If you ever take a normal iPhone photo too dark and then you try to brighten it up, the shadows will look all grainy and muddy and ugh. But now with ProRAW, you can rescue photos that you shot too dark because there's more information in those shadows. Also, by shooting in ProRAW, you unlock the bigger sensor size on your camera. On this iPhone 17 Pro, by turning on ProRAW, it changes the resolution of the sensor from 24 megapixels to 48. It literally doubles in size. This is detail, more pixels, more information when you zoom into your image. And this is very important, but color depth to me is still the king of ProRAW. But by shooting ProRAW, you get both, so it's a no-brainer. But like I said, editing is where you really see the power of shooting ProRAW. I edit on Lightroom Mobile, that's the one I kind of recommend, but you can even just edit straight up in your Photos app. So as you can see, when you move the highlights or shadow sliders, the phone isn't just stretching the image, it's reaching into that extra data we talked about. You'll notice you can push your edits way further before the image starts to break than the normal JPEG. It's a difference between coloring with a box of 8 crayons or a box of 64. But what's the catch? If this is so great, why wouldn't Apple just have this already defaulted as soon as you turn your iPhone on for the first time? Well, there is a catch. With more details, more colors, more information, that means more bigger files, which means your storage is filling up faster. This is the reason that most people don't shoot ProRAW and why Apple doesn't set it as a default setting. And we all know how much Apple charges for storage. For ProRAW lossless, file sizes are approximately 75 megabytes at 48 megapixels and 25 megabytes at 12 megapixels. For lossy, the file sizes are 20 megabytes at 48 megapixels and only 11 megabytes at 12 megapixels. Lossy is nearly a quarter of the size of lossless, and in all my editing and testing, I truly cannot tell the difference between the two files. The information and color is all there. I honestly can't think of a reason you'd rather shoot lossless than lossy. Now, as a little side tip, while we're still in camera settings, let's just scroll down to composition, and I like to turn on all of these sliders. Now, it's personal preference, but turn them on. I love to see the grid to help me compose. I love having the level. Viewing outside the frame is great too, in my opinion, as well as mirroring the front camera. All right, I hope you start seeing better photos coming out of your iPhone cameras, but remember, the best way to get better images is to shoot more. Experience and practice are more important than settings. Well, settings are important too. Good settings and practice make good photos. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more like it, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. If you have any other questions, comment them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Now go out and take some photos. Bye.